Thank you all for joining. We're really excited today to be focusing on opportunities for women-owned businesses. So this is a really great opportunity for businesses of all types owned by women to learn a little bit more about what's out there for them, but to learn a little bit more about an organization that's here to support as well. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our presenter today. Michelle Miller is from the Center on Women in Enterprise, and she will take it away and provide you all kinds of great content. As she's going through, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat function, and we will ask those at the end of the workshop. So we'll have a whole Q&A portion at the end of our time together. So without further ado, Michelle, take it away.
Thanks so much, Ben, and good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm really excited to be a part of this series and to chat with you a little bit about what's happening with women in business, what's out there to help you if you are current or aspiring women in business, and what CWE is. I did share these slides. Ben is so kindly agreed to share the slides, and I've got a couple of other little tools that I'm going to chat about today that will be shared with all of you after the presentation. But let's kick off. I'll introduce myself and tell you a little bit about CWE, which is a nonprofit that is dedicated to helping folks start and grow businesses. As you may have guessed from the name, most of what we do is by and for women. I've been working with CWE for about 5 years now, and I started working with CWE after I sold my business. I ran a coffee shop for several years, learned lots of lessons that now that I work for CWE, I can help to share those lessons learned and hopefully help folks to capitalize on some of the things that I did well and avoid several expensive mistakes that I make. So let me dive right in. I'll chat a little bit about our team. The Center for Women in Enterprise has women's business centers throughout New England. I'll talk a little bit more about what those are in a moment. But I sit in our Central Massachusetts office, which does also serve Western Mass. There's not a women's business center that's dedicated to Western Massachusetts yet, but we are really excited to be a part of an effort to try to get one as soon as we can. But in the interim, our office supports Central and Western Massachusetts. Our colleagues support Eastern Massachusetts. So between our two offices, we serve the state. As we mentioned, my name is Michelle Miller. I'm the director of our center. My email, my phone number is there. I have two phenomenal women who work on my team servicing Central and Western Mass. Those include Dawn La Rochelle, who is our project manager for COVID recovery. Dawn spends all of her time being at the forefront of every available resource for COVID impacted businesses and or folks who are thinking to start a business because of the impact of the pandemic on their lives. Many folks have been let go, otherwise furloughed, and are thinking about starting a business. Dawn is an amazing one-stop shop for those sorts of resources. She speaks Mandarin, Japanese, and Spanish, as well as English. Sam Javier is our digital marketing and program manager. She helps us to get the word out about what we do. She helps to get you scheduled for consultations with either of us. She's also really helpful when it comes to some of the basics of social media. A lot of folks became particularly aware over this last year of just how important it is to be on social media for your business, but that can be tough if you're not already comfortable with social media. Even if you are, it can be really difficult. There are a lot of intricacies with respect to having an effective social media presence. Sam is your girl to help you get sorted with all of that. So all of our name and contact information is here. You can also certainly reach out to us either at cweonline.org or just by shooting us an email. We're info.centralma@cweonline.org. But again, all this information's on the slides. Ben's going to be sending it out to you after, so please don't feel you've got to furiously scribble or memorize it now. So where I'd like to start is back up a little bit and chat about what we do, what the Women's Business Center program is. And I'd like to kick us off with just a celebration of women in business. Women-run firms are the fastest growing segment of our economy. What women in business have been able to accomplish in the last 30 years is absolutely phenomenal. It wasn't all that long ago, in the 70s, I believe, that women were not able to take out a credit card in their own name without a cosign from their husband or their father or some male in their family. But we've gotten to the point where, as I just mentioned a moment ago, that women-run firms are the fastest growing sector in the economy, and the statistics are mind-blowing in terms of the number of jobs they're creating and retaining, the number of dollars they are putting into our economy. So this is a really great time to either be a woman in business or consider getting into it if you are not already. Top on the list of things that I wish I would have known when I had my coffee shop was that the Center for Women in Enterprise exists. I did a lot of DIYing and trying to figure things out by myself, which is absolutely a part of entrepreneurship. But CWE is a really great free resource for folks that can help you to answer some of the logistical questions, think through some of the things that you're going to need to have in place in order to be successful in business. So CWE is, as you can see, an economic empowerment organization. We are a nonprofit. We work in close partnership with the US Small Business Administration, which I'll talk about in one moment. But we serve women professionals, especially those women in business, from early stage, thinking about whether or not you even want to be in business, whether it's the right fit for you, to deciding whether your idea is a strong one, writing a business plan. We also offer certification and exit planning, strategy help as well. So we service the gamut of the life cycle of a business. So let's chat about how all of this works. CWE, you can think about it as a parent nonprofit that has a couple of different programs that are in partnership with organizations such as the SBA. If any of you have engaged with business for a while, or maybe you've been looking for resources out there to help you get started with having a business, you've probably heard of a few different resources from Small Business Administration. That includes SCORE, that includes the Small Business Development Centers, the Veterans Business Outreach Centers, and it also includes the Women's Business Centers. Now, all of these guys, SCORE, SBDC, VBOC, the Women's Business Centers, we are nationwide programs. Almost every state has at least one women's business center, similarly with SCORE and the SBDCs. And we are indeed a family. We all approach business development slightly differently. We all have slightly different business models. But at the end of the day, our goal is to get you what you need to be successful in business. So we do a lot of programs together with each other. There are a lot of folks who decide to get small business supports from SCORE and SBDC and the Women's Business Centers, or some combination thereof. So if you take nothing else away from this, is that there's a bucket of free information out there for you among our different services, and you don't have to pick which one to work with. You can chat with each of us. You can chat with a few of us at the same time, however you want. So the Center for Women in Enterprise houses 5 of those women's business centers. Now, the idea of a women's business center is business development. How do you do business? How do you start one? How do you grow one? How do you market it, etc.? And how do you, and this is all by and for women, right? So we approach business development from a feminist perspective. And this is an important note, that feminist does not mean feminine, right? So we approach things from a feminist perspective that if anyone's ever interested in chatting more about, more than happy to talk to you. But those are the goals of the women's business centers. From a feminist perspective, what do women need to start and grow businesses? Let's make sure that you get connected with all the resources that you need in order to be able to do that. Most of what we do is free or offered at very low cost. Even where we do have a slight cost, we offer scholarships based on household income, and we are as generous as humanly possible there. We do also operate the Veterans Business Outreach Center of New England. You may remember a moment ago I mentioned, actually just last bullet, that there are a few different ways that SBA partners with local resources to make sure that you've got what you need to start and grow your business successfully. The Veterans Business Outreach Center is by and for service members, current active duty service members, veterans, their spouses, helping to make sure that they have what they need to successfully start and grow a business. So CWE operates all of these programs here in New England. So we're obviously focused on opportunities for women-run firms today, But just know that if you or someone you know is a service member, please reach out to us. I'd be more than happy to introduce you to my colleagues over at the Veterans Business Outreach Center. I find pictures helpful. Sometimes when I start throwing out acronyms and start chatting about what all's out there, it can be a lot. So I just show this slide to let you know how these services function. SBA has local relationships with folks who are really good at business to help make sure that you learn what you need about business. So we've got SCORE, we got SBDC, we got CWE, which breaks down into the WBCs, VBOC, and spoiler alert, we also operate WeBank. I'm not going to talk too much about that right now because we're going to talk about certification in another piece of this presentation when it comes to certification options for women entrepreneurs. But just know that's something we do. So if you ever want to learn more about getting certified as women-owned or veteran-owned or any of the other sorts of historically disadvantaged groups, we're here to chat. We do consultations, one-on-one opportunities for you to chat with a business generalist, most likely, meaning someone who may not be an expert in marketing and branding, but knows enough from a business perspective to be able to chat with you about the strategy that you want, right? So we offer consultations on a number of different business topics. We have classes, workshops, some of them are single session, some of them are multi-session. We do networking events. Every year, we host what we call the Women's Business Leadership Conference, which this year is going to be virtual for the second year in a row. Certification, we love to partner with organizations like Ben's, organizations like SCORE, every other organization to make sure that you get the resources that you need in order to be successful in business. Limitations to what we do really come down to the scope of a free service. At some point, business owners are gonna need to hire an attorney and an accountant, for example, to make sure that your business gets structured correctly and that you know what you need to stay on the right side of the IRS and to be fully protected from a liability standpoint. We offer general business advice and guidance, reading through business plans, helping you to think through different possibilities. But we also let you know when it's time to hire a professional to support you in a particular area and some tips and tricks for how to find them. I mentioned earlier that we service New England. The Veterans Business Outreach Center serves all 6 New England states. Our women's business centers, we don't operate the women's business. There are women's business centers in Connecticut and Maine. They're not part of CWE, but they are amazing women that work over there. Should you ever decide to open a branch or move to one of those other states, more than happy to introduce you to our colleagues there. But between our central and eastern Massachusetts offices, we serve the state of Massachusetts via a number of languages. We try to offer additional ones where possible. We just ask that if you need a different language accommodation or even a language accommodation here, that you just give us a heads up and we will do our best to get you what you need. All right. So I want to give you a quick snapshot of what we offer. Here are some of our core workshops that we offer to help you get through the different key stages of business, whether it's deciding if this is the right step, the right move for you to be a business owner, if it's how to start one, options for setting up a business legally. Remember, that's just an overview. It's not actually going to answer the question of what type of business do I set up, but it'll prepare you for that conversation. We help to chat through financials. How do you make sure that you can diagnose the health of your business, that you know what the financial situation looks like and how to strategize on it? And we have a number of growth options, including exit strategy planning, which is something that every entrepreneur should have on their mind. I mentioned Dawn a few moments ago, so I won't stay too long on this other than to just re-underline how fabulous Dawn is and some of the types of options that she has, specialized in those businesses or aspiring business owners who have been impacted by the pandemic. Similarly, another amazing colleague of mine, I'm so lucky to have these amazing women on my team. Sam works with digital media, program managing, especially if you are early or you're less comfortable with social media and you're not quite sure which platform or platforms to pick, how to get set up, what does all that look like, Sam is your girl, and she is a wonderful contact to help you get set up. Now, please don't feel like you have to memorize all three of our names or what we do. You're more than welcome to reach out to us, info.centralma@cweonline.org, or reach out to any of us directly, and we'll be happy to point you in the direction of the resource that we can best do. Unfortunately, we know that we can't do everything for everyone. We offer general business guidance. There will be some questions that we can't answer or some questions that we really shouldn't answer, right? For example, questions that should be answered by an attorney should be answered by an attorney, not us. And so our goal is to offer you as many things as we possibly can among our team. And if there's anything that we can't offer, our goal is to help get you in front of the person who can help you. All right, and with that, we have reached the end of this segment. So I will pause for a few moments before I move on to the next.